fingers and hope that this time it works. Welcome everyone to this live English lesson. If you are watching the replay, welcome as well. I hope that everything is going well for you. And I hope that you are able to learn just a little bit more English here. I'm just waiting to see if this lesson starts. I'm not sure if it is working. Wait, maybe it is working. I should be more patient. Let's see what happens here on the screen below. I think there was a little bit of a delay. I do see people saying nice haircut in the chat, so it must be working. Let me just fix something here, and I think we're good to go. Let me check something. For English here, I'm just waiting to... Yes, everything is working. So thank you to those of you who are saying nice haircut in the chat. You probably noticed that my hair is very, very short. This is the haircut that I like to get in the summer. It's not summer here though, it is spring, but I thought today I would just cut my hair super short. Let me just check something. Fix something here, and I think we're good to go. Yes, I think everything is working. So, like I said earlier, when I pushed the button to start the lesson, there was a big error on my screen. So I'm happy that things are working. Welcome to this Saturday English lesson. If you notice, there is a chat on the side. Please use the chat to ask questions. Sorry, don't use the chat to ask questions. Please use the chat to have conversations with each other. If you see people whose names are in green, like Jenny Val and Panthera, saying, "Hi Bob, how are you?" and it is working perfectly. The people with their names in green with the little crown are members of my channel. They have clicked the join button and they have decided to help support me. So thank you to all of you who are members. But I feel like I'm talking too much. Let's get started. I'm pretty excited to do this live lesson today. I think when you are stuck at home, it's fun to do things like this and to reach out and connect with other people. So let me get to the first question. I'm just going to check down. Wow, that is really short hair, isn't it? Yes, you could. That's pretty short. Well, the cool thing is it grows back. And also, I don't think I'm going bald at all. So that's kind of nice. Anyways, let me stop talking and get to the first question. The first question is from Deekshanch. And I don't know the answer to it, but it's a great question. Deekshanch says, which language has more silent letters, English or French, as you know both? I would say that English has a lot of silent letters. I don't know which language does have the most, but we have words like night, like I just typed in the chat. We have words that there's just silent letters everywhere, isn't there? So I will have to check Deekshanch and find out which language has more silent letters. Let's see here. Next question is from Valera. Valera says, "Hi teacher, can I say it this way?" So you could say, "I just made it to the bus stop yesterday," or "I just..." Let's see here. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it, because I think what you're saying is that you almost missed the bus. So you could say, "I just made the bus yesterday." Yeah, that would work, I think. And then the second one, great pizza. I would say, "This dough made great pizza." That's how I would say that one. That would be the best way to do it. Let me see here. Next question is from Vitaly Smirnov, a longtime member. Hello, Vitaly. Vitaly says, "Hello, Teacher Bob. How is it going there?" It's going good. It would be great if you'd keep the lesson explaining different grammar rules someone needs to learn and others to refresh. So I don't typically do a lot of videos about grammar. I should, though, do some more videos about grammar. I will think about it. The problem is, I find grammar kind of boring, and I have to think of a way to teach it so that it's exciting for you and me. I like to welcome the new member there. If someone is able to read their name and let me know what their name is, because Bob the Canadian has trouble with different alphabets. So welcome. Thank you for becoming a member of my channel. That is awesome. Let me get to the next question. Let's see here. Next question is from Dennis Welker. "Hi Bob, I was watching a video on YouTube and Justin Trudeau says, 'speaking moistly.' What does that mean?" I think that's a new term that's come out because of the coronavirus, okay? Let me just check for a sec. I think it means to speak I don't want to get this wrong because it's new. Let's see here. I think it means when you talk without a mask. So don't quote me on it, but I think it means when you talk and then, you have particles that come out of your mouth when you talk. I don't know though, it's a relatively new term. Next question is from Lily. Lily says, greetings from Vietnam. I don't clearly understand about the meaning of particular occasion and characteristic behavior. Can you give examples about that? So the first one, on this particular occasion, you're referring to, let's say you're talking about a bunch of different English classes that you went to, and you're talking about something that happened in just one of them, you would say, and on that particular occasion, the teacher taught a lesson about grammar. So you're basically just saying, at that class, that happened. So it's when you're referring to one specific occasion or one specific event. And then the second part you had was characteristic behavior. So one of my characteristic behaviors is that I wear blue plaid shirts, okay? So a characteristic behavior is a behavior that someone does that is helps you identify them. So yes, characteristic behavior. One of Bob the Canadian's characteristic behaviors is that he wears a lot of blue shirts. Let's see here. Chico has the next question. Let me see here. Let me get it posted in. Chico says, what is the difference between take, get, do you add alcohol in your tea? Thank you. No, I only have honey in my tea right now. That's all that I put in my tea. The difference between take and get, though, it's very hard to explain. Like, you can say, I like to take a bit of honey in my tea. I like to put a bit of honey in my tea. I like to take my kids to the grocery store when I go shopping. When I go to the grocery store, I like to get tea. I like to get it. So it's a lot bigger of an explanation than I can justify or do justice to in a live lesson. So I would highly recommend that you watch a video on the difference between take and get. There are a lot of strange nuances in Canada. Let's see here. Next question is from Syed Akil from Pakistan. Hi, Bob. The difference between gurney and stretcher. So in my knowledge, I think a gurney has wheels on the bottom and a stretcher is something two people carry. So they're both things that you use when someone is injured or sick. When you put someone on a gurney at a hospital, you can then wheel the gurney down the hallway. When you put someone on a stretcher, then two people carry each end. That would be what I would guess would be the differences. That makes the most sense to me. Next question is from Harry. Hello, Harry. Harry says, how are you doing? My question, when should I use the matter of fact? Does it really matter? So as a matter of fact, it does matter. So that's how you use it. When you state something that is a fact, you say something like, I have a remote control for my light. As a matter of fact, I can use it to turn off my light and turn it back on again. So it's simply something you say before you state a fact. Hey folks, I see the chat filling up with lots of questions. Please remember that I don't answer questions from the chat. I do occasionally answer member questions from the chat. Please use the form to ask your question. And if I get to your question, I will, but sometimes I just have trouble getting to all the questions. And for the members, please remember there will be a time towards the end of the live lesson where you can ask questions in the chat. So let's just keep the chat for conversation, and I will keep moving through the questions that I have in my form. Let's see here. I want to welcome Rafael Torres Pena to the channel. Thank you for becoming a member. That's awesome. Nora says, hi, Teacher Bob. How would you express the date or an appointment that you can't define exactly, around or about or roughly? So you could say that next Wednesday-ish, we could have an appointment. I could say that sometime next month I have an appointment. I could say that sometime next week I have an appointment. That's how you would refer to something when you don't know the specifics. So you would just say, let's meet again in roughly 4 weeks. That's the correct way to use roughly as well. Or let's meet again in about 4 weeks. All of those would work in terms of a time in the future that isn't set in stone. We has the next question. Here we go. We says, good morning, Teacher Bob. My question is, I power on the TV and I turn on the TV. Which sentence is better? So I personally, in Canada, I would say I turn on the TV and I turn off the TV, okay? It might be slightly different in the UK. In America, you would say I turn on the TV, I turn off the TV. That's how you would say, talk about turning the TV on and off. Next question is from Ruslan. Ruslan says, hello, Teacher Bob. Best wishes from Russia. Thank you very much. In your opinion, is it a good language practice if I listen to the news and try to write it down simultaneously? Yes. So here's how I think you should use the news. You should watch the news in your own language, and then you should watch the news in English. Writing it down while you listen to it would be great practice. Reading the news and then watching the news or listening to the news is also really good. So read the news in English and then watch or listen to the news in English. And if you add to that writing things down, that would be great as well. So let me get to the next question. Brent from the US says, let's see here. Brent from the US, did you watch the Canadian television show? You Can't Do That on Television growing up. I loved that show. I did not watch that show. I should have, but I actually didn't watch a lot of TV when I was younger. That's just kind of the life I lived. I was outside more than I was watching, inside watching TV. Next, Alina says, hi, Teacher Bob. Could you please explain what crutch words are? So crutch words are words that you use a lot. Instead of expanding your vocabulary, you always use the same words all the time. So they're kind of a crutch. A crutch is something you use when you have a broken leg. But a crutch word is, I can't think of specifics, but when I speak French, I use a lot of the same phrases all the time because they are the phrases I know. So those would be crutches for me. Hey, just a reminder again, folks, that the chat, please don't use the chat to ask questions. I don't answer the questions from the chat. I see a lot of questions in the chat. Please use the chat to have a conversation with each other as much as you can. I want to thank Daniel Camargo for becoming a member. Thank you so much, Daniel, for helping to support my channel. There will be a members only chat in about 30 minutes. I will switch the chat to members only, and you will be able to ask questions directly there. Let's see here. These are tricky questions. So Nawal says, hello, Teacher Bob. How are you doing? I would like to know how to use these words, superimpose and lateralize. So when you superimpose something, it means you put it on top of. So if you have one image, you can superimpose another image on top of it. And then the second one, lateralize, I don't actually know a good definition of that word. You will need to look it up. That would be the best. Let's see here. Okay, next question is from Mary. Mary says, hello, Teacher Bob. It's good to see you again. Could you please explain the difference between the words salary and wage? So I earn a salary. That means I get a certain amount of money for the entire year as a teacher. When you work a job, like if I was a construction worker, I might get a wage, an hourly wage. That means I get paid for every hour that I work. So there's a slight difference between the two. Usually when we talk about someone who is on salary, it means that they make a certain amount of money every year. And if someone has an hourly wage, they get paid by the hour. That's how we describe those two. Vida from Ukraine has the next question. Vita from Ukraine says, hello, what is the difference between to defend and to protect? So when you defend something, it means you keep bad people out. When you protect something, it means the same thing. So if Canada was at war, we would want to defend our country. We would want to protect our country. There's slight difference in the meaning, but they are almost interchangeable, those two words, for sure. Very, very similar in what they mean. Let's see here. Next question is, let me paste this in for a sec, and it's from Remy Solip, and it's about how do I study or remember homophone words. Okay, so there's something really, so a homophone is a word that's pronounced the same as another word but differs in meaning, and there are a lot of them in English, in Canadian English as well as American English. So we have words like, let me see here, barren and barren. So when a field is barren, it has no plants in it. But when you are of royalty, you might be a baron. So we have words that have different spellings and different meanings. We also have words with the same spelling and different pronunciations. You just need to use these words in sentences because the context of the sentence is what's going to help you remember the word. That's basically the best thing to do, is to use them. Let's see here. Next question is from Ario. Hello, Mr. Bob. Do you know Mad English TV channel? Do you know the Mad English TV channel? The name of the YouTuber, Mr. Mark, he is Canadian. Yes, I do know about his channel. I also know that he just bought a house. If you go to Mark's channel, Mad English TV, you'll see a video there where he talks about the house that he just bought. Very cool for him. He was traveling for quite a while and now he's back home in Canada. Let's see here. Next question is from, let's see here. Hello, sir. My question is, how do you describe foods or talk about them which have different effects? Like an egg is hot and the cucumber is cold in effect. You just talk about it that way. Like if I'm eating an egg and the egg just came out of the frying pan, I could say, whoo, this egg is hot. If I'm eating a cucumber and it just came out of the refrigerator, I would say it is very cool or cold. This cucumber is very cold. We also, though, use the word hot to talk about something that is spicy. So you could say when you eat something with lots of hot peppers in it, you could say that it's hot. So it's not just hot because it was cooked. It's hot because it's very, very spicy. Let me get to the next question here. Let's see. Next question is from Sita Ala. I'm following you on Instagram. Thank you. And I adore the idioms that you are sharing there. Thank you very much. Yes, I do a short little idiom every day, Monday through Friday. On my other channel, if you search on YouTube for really short English lessons, I have a second YouTube channel where I do a little video every day. If you have not looked at that, you should have a look at that. It's helpful for learning little idioms and phrases. Next question is from Mary the Iranian. Hello, dear Teacher Bob. Hello, Mary. What is the meaning of this idiom? Ballpark figure. So if I was going to build a house, they might say to me, the total cost to build the house, I'll give you a ballpark figure. It will be about $150,000. That means they don't know the exact amount, but they are giving me a pretty close number. So a ballpark figure is like a close number. So if I said, if I needed to make 10 of these mugs, ballpark figure, it would probably cost me $20. It might actually cost me $22, or it might cost $15, but a ballpark figure would be about 20. And your second question, to get more bang for your buck, just a little correction there. It's bang for your buck. So this is a slang phrase or a bit of an English phrase where when you spend your money, so sometimes we call money bucks, you know, it's a couple bucks, it's 10 bucks, it means $10. But if you can buy a whole lot of stuff for very little money, if something's a really good deal, we say that you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. Okay, so if I could buy, for instance, a whole thing of Coca-Cola for $3 at the store, and normally it's $10. I could say, well, I'm really getting a bang for my buck on this one. Alex, he has become a member. Thank you very much, Alex, for supporting the channel. That is awesome of you. Thank you for taking the time to click the join button and to join. I'm going to pause for a sec and just say, if you are new here, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below. Thumbs up during the live stream or while you're watching it in repeat is awesome. I'm Bob the Canadian. I try to teach English as best as I possibly can every week. And if you do want to support the channel, there is a join button down there. Some people join for just 1 month or 2. It's very little money just to thank me for the work I do. I very much appreciate it. And if you notice people in the live chat who have green names, those are the people who are my members, and they are awesome. And we will do a members only chat in just a few minutes. In about 20 minutes, I think, I will switch the chat to members only, and I will take questions straight from the chat. Let's go to the next question. We would call this a personal question, Sam. Sam says, hi, Teacher Bob. It's Sam from Taiwan. Did you fall in love with Jen at first sight? I would say that Jen and I had a lot of chemistry from the very beginning. So I'm going to avoid answering your question. I would say that when Jen and I first met, we liked each other right away. I'm not sure if it was love at first sight, but we certainly did feel that we liked talking, we liked joking around with each other. It was very, very nice. Let's see here. Next question is from Haneen. Oh, this is a good question. Haneen Asiri says, what is the difference, a little correction in the question there, what is the difference between my time and me time? So sometimes I take some of my time and I use it to teach English. So I'm simply saying the time is mine, so it's my time. But when I say I need some me time, it means that I don't want any other people to bother me. So if I go this afternoon and sit and read a book by myself, we would call that me time. That's a kind of a slang term for time that you spend just by yourself, okay? So sometimes people with lots of kids, when their kids are loud and crazy, they'll say, oh, I just need some me time. And what they're saying there is they just need some time they just need some time by themselves to kind of recharge. So they need some me time. I get lots of me time, even though I have 5 kids. I do usually get a little bit of me time every day. And usually I use it to take a nap. That's the best way to do it. Let's see here. Next question is from Simbat. Hi, Bob. Further down the road means in the future. Yes, you could say, so further down the road, I might do more live streams every week. I'm not planning that now, but further down the road, in the future, I might. Is it always about time? How about distance? Also up and down the corridor? Could you explain it a bit? So I'm not familiar with the phrase up and down the corridor. It might be from British English or something like that. But further down the road can have a literal meaning. If someone stops and says, I'm trying to find this person's house, I could say it's further down the road, which would mean it's literally further down the road that they would need to keep driving to get there. Let me clean up my questions here, everybody. By the way, there are a lot of questions today, so please be patient as I work my way through them. And I do see people again. Let's see here. Ying says, hi, Bob. Greetings from Taipei. Crew cut and buzz cut. Are they the same? Which one should you use to describe your hair? So I would call this a buzz cut. A crew cut looks the same, but usually a crew cut you would get in the army, or you would get, maybe if you're a police officer, you get a crew cut. It looks the same. I would call this a buzz cut though, because it's very, very short. But yes, they mean the same thing, but generally we use the term crew cut to refer to really short hair of someone in the military or on a police force. Let's see here. Next question. Rada from Morocco. Hi, Teacher Bob. What does it mean, or what do these words mean? Awkward and turn out. So when you're awkward, you have trouble talking. When I speak French with a native French speaker, it's very awkward for me, and I sound awkward because I get nervous. So awkward is a word to describe how you move or how you feel or how you talk when you're feeling nervous. And then turn out is simply if something turns out good or turns out bad. You're talking about what ends up happening, okay? So hopefully I can do this live lesson well, and hopefully it turns out good. Hopefully everyone has a chance to learn a bit more English. Let's see. Let's go here. I see Todd saying to coffee grounds fragrant. It's my job to talk to the chat. It's okay. Yes, it's definitely Todd and Dave's job. By the way, Todd and Dave are great. They help me out with all of my live streams. If you are wondering, I do give them some money to help me. It is actually a job for them, and they take it very seriously. And I just want to thank them again because they do an awesome job. So thanks to Todd and thanks to Dave for being here twice a week to help out. That is awesome. Let's see here. Kismo says, hi, Teacher Bob. How are you? My question, is it rude or disrespectful to call your parents by their first name? Thank you. So I call my mom Mum. I do not call her by her first name. I don't know if it's rude or disrespectful, but it's certainly not done, okay? Some people do call their parents by their first name, but I'm old and I still call my mom Mum. By the way, I'm Canadian, so I say Mum instead of Mom. If I was in the US, I would say Mom, but it's spelled the same, by the way. So yes, I think you would consider it a bit rude or disrespectful. It depends on what the parent says, though. Some parents are fine with it. In English, when you say that someone is fine with something, it means that they are okay with it. It does not bother them. Let's see. Mustafa says, hi, Bob. Why do English speakers sometimes use the verb talk without the preposition about? For example, we don't talk politics here. I think it's just a short and quick way to use the verb. So I like to talk about computers, but sometimes my friend and I talk computers all day long. It's not proper English, but it is common to do that. So I would certainly, if you are a new English speaker, use about. Like, I like to talk about the tea I drink. I like to talk about cars. I like to talk about computers. Let's see here. Next question from Naima. Naima has the next question. I do appreciate your lesson, especially wild animals. I feel like I'm stuck at the same level with English. What can I do? So 2 things there. Yesterday, we did a lesson about wild animals. If you search Bob the Canadian Wild Animals on YouTube, you'll find it. It was a good lesson. We talked about lions and tigers and deer and all that kind of stuff. And then second part of your question, Naima, if you're stuck at the same level in English, I usually recommend that you find an English tutor either on FaceTime or Skype or in person who you can meet with. It just really, really helps if you have someone you can talk to. And the second thing to push yourself to the next level is to register to take an English test in the future. If you register to take a test in 3 months, knowing that you have a test coming up in English will make you study a lot harder and will make you progress to the next level a lot more quickly. Tests are amazing. When I was refreshing my French or reviewing my French, knowing I had a B1 or B2 test coming up made me study a lot harder for sure. Let's see here. Madi Ashamari, hi Bib the Canadian, Bob the Canadian. Hopefully you are doing well. I'm just correcting a few things. Hopefully you are doing well. I want to thank you for your videos. They are extremely useful. It's the best channel ever. Well, thank you. I don't know if it's the best channel ever, but I really like making videos. It's been over 3 years now, and I still really like this. It's super fun. I think Tuesday's video, I'm not sure yet, but it might be an English lesson about really small things. You'll have to look for that on Tuesday. I've been wanting to do an English lesson about really small things for a while and how we talk about really small things. It might not be an exciting lesson for all of you, but I'm excited to make it. So hopefully a few people watch it. Let's see. Next question is from Beanie. Beanie from Taiwan. Hi Bob, how to use the word engaged and engaging plus at or in. So when you're engaged in something, it means you're doing it. Okay, so right now I'm engaged in doing a live lesson. When you are engaging, it means that you are entertaining and fun to listen to. So when I go and listen to a speaker, I like it if the speaker is engaging. Okay, it means that it's very easy to listen to them. So hopefully that answers it a bit. We'll see. I'm going to move on to the next question. I think I did okay on that one in terms of answering. Let's see here. Jennifer G. Hi, Bob. In your lesson about errands and chores, you said because it is exam week. Did I miss the article before exam? Thank you very much. No. So I could say at a school, we have regular class and then we have exam week. We could say we have an exam week, but when you are in the week, you can simply say it is exam week, okay? Because I'm being very specific. I could say it is the exam week, but that's cumbersome. We don't use the in front when we're talking about that. It might be different in the United States, but here in Canada, we would say things like, right now it is spring break. A few months ago, it was exam week. In a few months, it will be summer holidays, okay? Totally correct to say things like that, for sure. Let's see here. Next question. This is a good one. Daniel Camargo. Hi, Bob. Do you have any video about how to pronounce the trademarks correctly in English? So trademarks are company names. As an example, Xerox. Thanks, you rock. So I should do a video about that. I don't have my paper here to write down. Todd, can you write that down and email it to me? I should do a lesson about trademarks and how to pronounce them, like Nike and Adidas and Xerox. I could probably do that on a Friday sometime. That would be a good lesson. Let's see here. Next question. Cal Mura. Hi, Bob. I'm from Brazil. Hello. There are a lot of people from Brazil that watch my videos. So hello, Brazil. And hello, Kyle. I am having difficulty with sentences that have the preposition to plus a verb, to plus a verb ing. When should I use both? That is a big question. So I think what you're saying is I'm going to be eating lunch later, or I'm going to eat lunch later. Both sentences are correct. Let me say them again. I'm going to be eating lunch later. I'm going to eat lunch later. They mean the same thing, but we do kind of have this weird thing with English where we sometimes use words and sometimes we don't. So again, those are just two quick examples. I'm going to be eating lunch and I'm going to eat lunch. Both mean the same thing. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. Let me clean up my questions here, folks, and let me make sure I don't click the wrong button. Let's see here. Tom has the next question. And Tom says, hi, Bob, how are you? My question is, what is the difference? Notice a little correction there. What is the difference between relocate and migrate? Thank you so much. So we would use relocate to talk about people. So if I got a job in another city, my family and I would need to relocate. We would need to move. So relocate means to move. When we use the word migrate, we use that a lot for birds. Birds in the fall will migrate south and then they will migrate north again in North America. And sometimes we do use migrate to talk about people. Like a group of people might migrate from one part of their country to another. But often we use relocate to talk about people and migrate to talk about specifically birds in North America and other parts of the world. Birds tend to migrate. Next question is from Eugene. Hi, Eugene. Good morning, Bob. Can you please edit the YouTube subtitles? I find sometimes YouTube auto-translates subtitles not correct. So, Eugene, I don't have a lot of time to edit the subtitles on my Friday and Saturday videos. My Tuesday videos have perfect word-for-word English subtitles, and that's as much at time as I have right now. So sorry about that. I try to speak slowly so that the automatic subtitles are accurate, but overall, there's just not enough time in the week to do all of that. So sorry. Next question, Anna, what French YouTubers would you recommend to follow? I'm learning French now. Thanks a lot for your lessons. They're always inspiring. So I watched all of the videos from Cyprien. So that's Cyprien. He is a very famous French YouTuber. He does not make as many videos now. He doesn't teach French though. He's just a normal French YouTuber. I also watched I've watched all of the videos from Natu. She is another French YouTuber. Awesome. They don't teach French though. They're just regular YouTubers. So my French is at the level where I like to watch native French speakers. So those are the two that I would watch. In terms of learning French, I don't have that in front of me right now, but I will ask me the question in the comments below, and I will list some of the French YouTubers that I have followed in the past to help with my French. Eugene, thank you so much for the super chat. Jingjin Liu, thank you so much for the super chat. Very, very cool. Let's see here. Next question is, just let me check something for a sec here. Okay, I think we're good. Let me go to the next question. Vasily says, hi Bob, could you explain the difference between attitude and relationship? Thanks a lot. So they're very different, at least my first take on this. Your attitude is what you're like or how you feel. So my attitude when I am doing a live lesson is that I'm happy. My attitude is that this is exciting. My attitude is that I really like doing this. Okay, so I'm hyper and I'm excited. So that's the attitude I have. It's an emotion. A relationship is the interaction you have with another person, right? So you and your friend, that's a cool relationship between the two of you. We also use the word relationship to talk about how things are connected, okay? So there's a strong relationship between Canada and the United States because we are so close as countries. So hopefully that helped a bit. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. Next question is from Gleb. Gleb from Moscow. Hi, Teacher Bob. Thanks for your lesson. Do you wear a mask when you go to the grocery or grocery store or other markets? Is it necessary in Canada? So I have not worn a mask yet. Jen and I don't have masks, but we go to a very small grocery store and there are not very many people there. Our plan though is to make masks and to start wearing them. People in Canada have not worn a lot of masks in the past. I know there are other parts of the world where it's very common to wear masks when there is an infectious disease. I think in North America, we are learning that that's a good idea and we will start doing it a lot more. So people in Canada have not been used to wearing masks and we are very quickly starting to wear masks. So it is becoming a lot more common. That is a great question. Let's see here. Next question. Mickey. Thanks, Mickey. Mickey says, hi, before I get to my question, I really like your new haircut. Thank you. That is exactly how you would say that in English if you were giving someone a compliment. You would say, hey, I really like your new haircut. It's a great way to do it. Okay, let's go. Is there a difference between saying I will, I am going to, and I'm doing? So I will and I'm going to both refer to something you're going to do in the future. They used to have slight differences in meaning. They don't anymore. I could easily say, next week I will be teaching class online. Next week I'm going to be teaching class online. Both work, okay? It's very easy to do that. Vitaly Smirnov in the chat says it's not common in Russia too, talking about masks. I think countries where people have not worn masks are starting to become used to wearing masks. I really think there is going to be a change in the world. Let me clean up my questions here. Let me just check something for a moment. I need to hit that button there. Let's see here. Oh, Alina from Mexico. Hi, Mr. Bob. A Canadian friend used to write should've, would've, could've. Do you use these phrases in Canadian English? Yes. So it is a very common practice to write sentences using could've, would've, should've in order to practice those verb tenses. Okay, so I could have gone to the store yesterday. I would have gone to the store if I had money. I should have gone to the store and bought some coffee. So I would practice those a lot because we use them all the time in English, for sure. Learn American English with this guy says, wearing masks has become very common in the US now. Yeah, so wearing masks in Canada and the United States was not common, and it's definitely becoming more common. I think we have learned that it is a good thing to do. Let's see here. I don't know this question, Helix. So Helix says, hi, Bob. I want to know what this expression means. Keep the talk in the doghouse. So you can be in the doghouse, and it's an expression we use to talk about people who are together romantically. And if one of the couple, usually the man, does something bad, he might then be in the doghouse. So let's say I'm supposed to bring home pizza and I forget, and Jen gets angry at me. I could say that I'm in the doghouse. That means for a while in our relationship, Jen isn't happy because I forgot to do something. Lucky for me, Jen doesn't get very angry with me very often. But if she did, I could say that I was in the doghouse. So that's the phrase I'm familiar with. So hopefully that helps. Hey, I'm just gonna do a little switcheroo here. Just give me 1 sec. I'm going to turn on members only chat. So again, the live stream continues. Everyone is welcome to stay, but the chat now is switched so that only members can talk in the chat, and I will take questions straight from the chat if I can keep up. Bonjour, Bob le Canadien. S'il vous plaît. Oh, please. In which case do we use grasp or comprehend instead of understand? Merci beaucoup. When you have a good grasp of something, it means that you understand it, or it means that you comprehend it. In English, in spoken English, we would use to have a good grasp of and to understand interchangeably. When we use the word comprehend, it's very sounds very academic, like you would use that in writing. We don't often in spoken English say, I read a book and I was able to comprehend a lot. Okay, questions are coming fast. Alina says, I've been baking the Easter cakes all day long. Do you know that in Russia we call it kulich? No, I will look that up later, Alina. Panthera Nori, hi Teacher Bob. Is there any difference between in general and in average? I would say it's in general and on average. And they mean they're fairly close. Like in general, I drink 1 cup of tea a day. On average, I drink 1 cup of tea a day. I would use in general more though. Sam the Taiwanese says, hi Teacher Bob. I watched the video about how to argue. That is very awesome. I'm glad you liked it, Sam. Other videos are awesome as well. Hope you could make more videos like the one which contains many conversations in it. I will try my best to do more. Vitaly Smirnov, were you thinking about additional parks for the supporter levels or perks? I thought it would be a good idea to do a video lesson as a tutor, maybe once a month. So Vitaly, it all depends on my time. So right now I still teach full time and I do this in my spare time. So if I have more time, I may add more perks. Gonzalo, hi Bob. Why is it so difficult to understand classic Western movies? 2 reasons. English changes over time. So if you're watching older movies, they may be using phrases we don't use anymore. And secondly, you might not know all the vocabulary that you would hear in a Western, like 6-shooter and spurs. There might just be a whole bunch of words that you don't know. Learn English, American English with this guy. Have they announced when Canadian schools will be back in session? No, we have heard that we are delayed 1 more month, and then it's going to be week to week. But we were going to go back on May 4th, but now they're saying it probably won't be till the middle of May or later. Let's see here. Hi, Teacher Bob. Do you use Go Dutch often, which refers to splitting the bill? We do not use it a lot, but it is definitely an English term. When two people go on a date, if they split the bill, instead of the man paying or the woman paying, we would say that they are going Dutch. Hi Bob, it's Frank again. I want to know if people use lest often in daily life. I'm an English teacher in Taiwan and many students ask me this question. We don't use the word lest a lot in everyday conversation, but lest you think we don't ever use it, we do sometimes use it. So there was an example for you. In writing, we might use it. Merci Bob, j'ai compris. C'est excellent. Lolly, Bob, can I use the stock car expression for any type of race car? Thanks. No. So stock cars are usually found in races like NASCAR. So you'll have to do some research on what's considered a stock car versus an Indy car versus a Formula One car. Gleb says, you already replied to my question about masks. Thank you very much. No problem. FA says, hi Bob the Canadian. Thanks for all of your videos. I have difficulty learning phrasal verbs and idioms. What can I do? What textbooks would you recommend? So FA, I don't mean to self-promote too much, but I have 3 videos on phrasal verbs. You should go watch those if you have not. I tried to act out the phrasal verbs in those videos. So if you search for Bob the Canadian phrasal verbs on YouTube, you'll find them. And then I would also just search for other YouTube videos about phrasal verbs. I know there is a phrasal verb video where someone uses one piece of paper to teach 50 phrasal verbs. Look for that one. I think it might be Kangaroo English, but I can't remember. Panthera, I have another highly important question. Where can we suggest your topics to new videos? So Panthera, I have not asked for suggestions yet, but look on my community page in the future. I will start to ask if you guys have topic suggestions. But right now I have lots of ideas. So learn American English. My school is out until fall. I think we'll be in the same boat, Brent. I really do. I think your name's Brent, right? Give me a thumbs up. Learn American English if your name's Brent. Vitaly says, lest we forget. So it's a common phrase. In Canada, we have Remembrance Day when we remember soldiers who have passed away. And we use the phrase, lest we forget. So that's an example of the word lest. Panthera says to Alina, I'm glad to hear that. Let's see, Jinjin Liu, hi Bob. Do you plan one day to use two-way video conference system to teach English online like Zoom? At this point, no. But further down the road, I might consider it. Notice I use the phrase further down the road. But right now I do not have time. ITS has given me a sticker. Thank you so much for the sticker. Lolly says, no mask for people in France. I had to make one from scratch. Hope it's useful. Yes, many people here are making masks because it's hard to buy them. Alina says, hi. Oh, talking to Panthera. It's going to be cool if our idea will be the next lesson topic. Yes, I will see if I can find a way to get feedback from my members. Learn American English with this guy. His name is Brent. Brent is his name. I thought I saw that in the chat earlier. Very cool. Panthera Nori, okay, then we'll pay attention to the upcoming ones. Thank you. I think the suggestion was that this Friday's, I think the next lesson might be about cars and car vocabulary and idioms about driving and cars. But I'm also curious, I might do a lesson on trademarks. I might do that this Friday. We'll see. I'll keep you informed. Let's see. Learn American English with this guy. Zoom is tricky for teaching students. I would say it is only for the most serious students. Many goof off. Yeah, it's tricky to teach online. I've been doing it for 4 weeks now with my students, and it's an interesting way to teach. Hey, I'm just going to grab another question from the question bank. Luis Martin says, hello, Bob. Nice haircut. That's how you would say that, Luis. May I use pavement or curb? Are they interchangeable? No. So pavement is the road and the curb is the little piece of concrete on the side of the road. So if you have the pavement, when you get to the edge, it goes up a little bit. That's the curb. That's how we would refer to that. Alex He says, hi, Bob. Could you tell me what's the difference between I know you well and I know you a lot? So first of all, I would use I know you well. I know you well. I know you very well. I would not say I know you a lot, but I might say I know a lot about you. Okay, so I know you well, or I know a lot about you. Yes, so to goof off means to misbehave, okay? So you want your students to listen and you want your students to pay attention, but sometimes students goof off and that means they misbehave. Hey, I forgot to mention something. Some of you gave super chats so that we would buy Oscar treats. We haven't spent all the super chat money yet, but we did buy him some little treats, and we are going to buy him some little treats the next few times we go grocery shopping, because about 4 of you during the lesson on pets gave super chats for Oscar. So I just want to make sure you know we did buy him what's called a milk bone. And it's a soft and chewy dog treat, and he's eaten almost all of them. We will get him more. So thanks again to those of you that helped support Oscar's role as a dog on a farm. Let's see here. Next question. Jalen Roll says, I did a vocabulary test and I found my result is not good. Does it really reveal your English ability? Those words seem uncommon and it makes me sad after the test. It really depends the kind of test you take, but I think knowing you have a test really makes you study hard. So it is good to do tests. Don't be disheartened by the results. Try to just look at it as one more step in learning English. Vitaly says, bon appetit, Oscar. He's speaking French. Alina says, yummies for Oscar. Yes, definitely yummies for Oscar. Again, thank you to all of you that helped out. Let's see here. Madi says, hi, Bob. How long are you... So I think what you want to ask is, how long were you studying French? Or how long did you spend learning French? And what are your results? How much time was necessary to know a new language? Thanks for your lessons. So I had a huge advantage in that in schools in Canada, you learn French for about an hour or 2 a week from grade 1 until grade 12. Okay, then I studied French in university for 4 years. And I also lived in the province of Quebec for about 9 or 10 months when I was a lot younger. So I can't tell you how long it took, but I can tell you that I have hours and hours and hours of French experience. And in spite of that, malgré ça, I still have an accent and my French is not perfect. So it just takes a long time to learn a language. Some people can go quicker than others. Alina says, 793 people watching. Yeah, that's a lot. I try not to look at the number, Alina, because it makes me nervous. Daniel says, Bob, in Canada, do you use the expression hump day for Wednesday? Yes. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday is the middle of the week. So we call it hump day because it's the middle of the week. It's an informal expression, but you will hear people say it like, it's Wednesday, it's hump day. We're halfway through the week. Let me get another question. So this is from Dami Spanish. Hi, Bob. Nice look. Who cut your hair during this lockdown? So I have clippers. I have hair clippers. And I put an attachment on to cut this short. And then I cut it myself. And then Jen finishes it. Because usually I miss a spot. So I cut the hair myself. And then when I'm done, then Jen takes the clippers and she trims around my ears, around my neck. And she gets any spots that I have missed. Let's see here. Bantheri says, I just started to notice everything around me in my life. What I need from the grocery stores, what are my plans for each day? Many little steps, but so I use it regularly for sure. That is an awesome way to practice vocabulary and to make sure you remember the words you are learning. You just need to notice everything around you and then say the English word or use it in a sentence. So I've said this before, like, this is a mug. I have tea in the mug. I am drinking tea from my mug. Just try to vocalize or say everything out loud. It's super, super helpful when you are learning any language. Let's see. I mean in English, of course. Yes, for sure, Panthera Nori. I don't understand why Zoom should be legal for the kids under 12. My kids in Russia study with that app. Yeah, I think it's just there are certain laws in the world, and that's one of them. Same with Facebook. Kids under 13 aren't supposed to be on Facebook. So, I mean, there's rules, and there's rules. Let me grab another question here. Alexandra Consoni. Hello, Teacher Bob. What is the difference between let and drop off? Thanks in advance. So I let my kids play on their phones in the afternoon. In the morning, during the week, they have to do all of their schoolwork. At 2:30, if they are done their schoolwork, I let my kids play on their phones, okay? Let, though, has a lot of different meanings. So it would be a good idea to watch an English lesson just about the word let. When you drop someone off, it just means you give them a ride somewhere. So I could drop off my kids at school. I could drop off my mom at the airport. I could also drop my kids off at school, and I could drop my mom off at the airport. Notice we kind of flip words around. They're all correct. Tess has given a super chat. What is the difference between the words must and should? So I must go to work. That means that you really have to go to work. I should go to work means that it's something that this is a tricky one. So when you say that you should do something, it means that you don't have to do it, but it would be a really good idea to do it, okay? So in order for me to talk for 1 hour, I should drink tea, okay? I don't have to drink tea, but it's a really good idea to drink tea. So if I say I should drink tea, that's what that means. Alex He, this is my first time. I asked the same question twice. Another is through the link. Sorry, please ignore it when you see it. No problem at all. That being said, I am gonna turn the full chat back on, and it might get a little crazy in the chat. Thank you so much to all of you who are members. I'm happy that we can do just a members only chat at the end of each lesson. That's very awesome of you. Let's see here. Vitaly says, when you use should, it means you must, but not really. Yeah, it's kind of you must exercise, or you should exercise to be healthy. It means it's a good idea to exercise. And if you exercise, you get good results and you are healthier. But you don't have to exercise, but you should exercise. That's the difference between those two. Let me clean up the questions here. I do want to say again, members only chat is off. I do want to clearly thank all of my members. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for helping to support my channel, or to just thank me. I know some of you just joined for a month or two just so I can buy a coffee or so I can buy Oscar dog treats. That's awesome. Thank you for clicking that join button. And I know earlier someone was asking, they said they couldn't join. I don't think you can become a member of a YouTube channel in every country. I think it works in a lot of countries, but there are some countries where it doesn't work. So anyways, thank you if you are a supporter. That's awesome. Let me get to the next question. It's from Ruben Nunes. Let's see here. Ruben Nunes says, hi from Brazil, Teacher Bob. What does the expression get by mean? So let's say you don't have a lot of money, but you have enough money to pay your rent. You have enough money to buy groceries. You don't have enough money to buy extra stuff, but you have enough money to get by. Okay, so when we use the phrase get by, it means that you have just enough money to live. Okay, there was a time in my life a long time ago when I was living in Quebec. I didn't have a lot of hours at the restaurant where I worked, but I made enough money to get by. That means I made enough money to pay my rent. I could buy some basic groceries. I had enough money to get by. I couldn't go to the movies. I couldn't buy beer, but I had enough money to buy rice and meat and vegetables, and I had enough money to pay my rent. I had enough money to get by. So when you have enough to get by, it means that you have just enough. Next question is from Ramon. How's it going, sir? How do you get your haircut during this tough time? By the way, you look pretty handsome. Yes, as I mentioned, I have my own hair clippers. I have always had my own hair clippers. I don't very often go to the barber to get my hair cut. So Let's see here. Yes, there is a chance you won't get an answer because we're going to run out of time. That's very true, Panthera Nori. For sure, we are, if I look, there are a lot of questions left and I probably won't get to all of them. I will try my best. Let's see here. Zami says, hi Teacher Bob, please do a lesson about different kinds of clothes. Thanks in advance. I will do that. I'm worried about doing a lesson like that though, because there are the clothes you see and then there's the clothes underneath, and Bob the Canadian gets embarrassed when he talks about certain things, but I will add that to the list and I will try to do a lesson about the different kinds of clothes. Let's see here. Next question. Just a little bit of a tough question here, but Mario, can you tell me what this means? In how many weeks during this employment period have you earned 333 or more? Basically, if you are filling out a form and you see a question like that, it's simply saying for each of the weeks that you worked, in which of them did you make more than $333? So let me read that again. In how many weeks during this employment period have you earned $333 or more? So they're asking you to look in the past and to tell them in which weeks did you make more than $333. Let's see here. I just have to look at the time. Whoa, time is flying, isn't it? Very much so. Let me do one more question and then we will wrap this up. This is about, so Aliaski Nikistin, hello, I'm watching a cartoon, Avatar, The Last Airbender, but I don't know what exactly the word bender means. Can you explain? So I don't have anything I can show you, but if you had a wire and you went like this, we would say that you were bending the wire. The Last Airbender is this kid who can bend air. So it's kind of a funny thing to say, but he is an air bender. He can bend air. I could be totally wrong because I haven't watched that actual cartoon. But someone who bends things, you could say, is a bender. It's not a common word, but that's what that would be. Hey, folks. This has been 1 hour. I'm sorry I did not get to all the questions, but do please remember that if you come back tomorrow and watch parts of this video again, there will be English subtitles auto-generated. That can be quite helpful. If there were parts of the lesson or if there was an answer I gave that you didn't understand, do come back and watch this tomorrow. Thanks again to all of you who clicked the join button, which is down there to help support my channel. If you are new here, click the subscribe button for sure. It is completely free and you will be notified when I do a new video. Thanks for coming out and asking me all of your questions. It's very, very helpful. I hope you have a great weekend. For me, it's going to be a weekend. I'm going to try and relax, but I don't often relax. I will probably be working on some new things for you on my computer. Look for a new video on Tuesday. I think I'm going to do a video about really small things and how we talk about them, just because I think it would be fun to do. And I'm going to say bye, and I'm going to push the stop button, and I'm just going to wish